Yo, what's up, y'all? Today we're gonna be talking about Forza as a series, what are the problems about it, and what needs to change for the series overall. Talking about the motorsport side and talking about the Horizon side. So, obviously, a couple videos beforehand I talked about why Forza lost its plot and that kind of such. So I already talked about the problems that the series has essentially, and technically right now what I want to do is speak on essentially the problems front first, and obviously talk about what I want to see for changes and what Forza in general needs to focus on in the future. As right now it looks like that the series is just not how it used to be in any way, shape or form, in either side, the motorsport side and the Horizon side. So let's get right to it. So I'm gonna first talk about the motorsport side because I feel that's where the series is at its worst. Obviously Forza Motorsport has been a terrible launch. You know, when it came out October 2023, it missed the mark in every way. Not only it had a lack of content, it was a broken mess, and it's still kind of a broken mess, and it's still lacking content, even though we're getting updates every month and they're adding a couple of things here and there every month and fixing stuff here and there every month. It's still not polished enough, or not a full package for it to be like a proper AAA game yet. And that's kind of sad. That's really sad, because not only that this game was supposed to be rebooting the series in general, it also took 6 years essentially to make this game, to make said game, right? I don't know when, obviously we don't really know when they started working on this game to be exact. We could just assume on when Forza Motorsport 7 ended its life cycle, which was 2019. So we would say by then until 2023 is when they would start. But yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know what is going on behind the scenes in Turn 10. Honestly, don't know what's going on, because it was clear that they needed at least one more year to get this game polished, get this game working properly. It should have been delayed a year or more. It should have came out this year instead of last year, because the game is absolutely broken and still missing a lot of content. I'm surprised that the single player career mode is lacking. That's one of the main problems about the game. Obviously it's broken. The carb grade system, which is getting fixed in the next upcoming update, which I'm excited to see. It's looking pretty good. The AI is another problem that they're going to fix later on. And the graphics are kind of odd. I don't know what's going on with the graphics. That is not really that important, to be honest, for a game. But when you had such high, when you're talking about a game like Forza that is all about having great graphics and such, it's hard to see like a game that doesn't look good in the Forza catalog. So the graphics are kind of odd, man. I don't know what's going on with it. There's a severe lack of contrast. Like the contrast is very low for some reason when it's the day, and the day lighting is so off or so iffy, and some cars feel like they don't have reflections on them, even though it's a next gen game and has ray tracing doesn't make sense to me, and the overall like game just doesn't feel, it doesn't look good. Obviously the fidelity and the graphics fidelity is there, but all in all it doesn't look good. Like when you compare that to Gran Turismo 7 looks miles better, and obviously the car models in Gran Turismo 7 are miles above what are in Forza Motorsport, because Forza obviously rehashes the car models, and I'm gonna assume that they rehash the tracks as well, because it seems like they're not really doing much, even though they say that they're rescanning them and all that kind of stuff, and building them from the ground up, like they said every single time they announced, you know, the game, or like marketed the game before release. They always say built from the ground up. Don't think they built anything from the ground up besides the multiplayer, which is one good thing about the game, but that still needs to be kind of dealt with a little bit because of the penalty system, which I'm assuming that they're gonna fix anyways, which is, you know, they did say something about that Forza race regulation system is gonna be touched upon sooner or later, which is good. But ultimately, my question is to why are these things getting changed now, or getting thought of now, or getting fixed now, when we're literally 3+ months into the life cycle of the game, right? I don't get why these games get released when they're clearly not ready. Games like Cyberpunk 2077, Battlefield 2042, and this game, why are these games getting released before they're clearly not ready, right? Obviously it has to do with essentially the publisher, right? Publishers. I'm gonna assume that Microsoft had to deal with having to deal with the game getting released earlier than it should have got released. They probably had something to do with that. I don't think it's Turn 10's fault ultimately. I 100% doubt that they wanted the game to be like this to even begin with. So, but it's just sad all in all, because this game turned out to be worse than their self-proclaimed worst game, which was Forza Motorsport 5. It turned out to be worse than that game. So yeah, man. What I want this game to change is ultimately just make the game better. Ultimately, man, just fix the things you gotta fix. Get all of the content that were in the previous games in there, please. Everything, there's a tons of things, there's a lot of things missing and such, man. And I'll get to the last thing I want to say about later on to the video. Now I want to talk about the Horizon side real quick. Now Horizon side is kind of there's less problems, but I feel like the problems are almost as significant as the ones that Motorsport are having right now. Horizon 5 as a game, it's a polished game. There's nothing really wrong with this game, but when you look deeper within the game, there's a lot of problems with it. So on the surface, there's not much to really say. It's an okay game, but there's a lot for me to say about it. So my problem with Horizon 5 and with most of the recent Horizon games, so Horizon 4 and 5, I'm talking specifically, is the disconnect with the festival vibe. Horizon 4 and 5, I feel, suffer with the overall vibe of the festival. Horizon 4 attempted to have as good of a vibe as the first 3 games did. but it didn't really hit the mark. And that reason has to do with two things, I feel. It has to do with actually three things, kind of. It has to do with the characters, which, you know, yeah, the characters. Two, the map. And three, the soundtrack. When you look at these three things, Horizon 4 and 5 makes these three things for the last two games haven't been the best in that department. Look at the map in Horizon 4, look at the map in Horizon 5, they're not as good as the first three games. Look at the soundtrack of those games, they're not as good as the first three games. When you look at the characters, name one character besides Kira that that you guys know of, like you guys know of the name of these characters besides Kira, right? You guys know nothing, right? You don't know anybody because the characters you just don't know them, and they're not memorable in any way, and they're just complete cringy. Like, I don't know what's going on with them, but that's just how it is. So yeah, like the problem with these games is that everything has been degraded to, you know, to almost oblivion. And now the vibe of these games now feel as that they're just Forza open worlds. You know, that's just me anyways. So that's what I feel like. And for the progression / gameplay, that's obviously a massive problem with the series right now. This is coming from a guy that is a hardcore racing gamer, right? I want games that make you feel rewarded of what you're doing and how you progress within the game. I want games like that. So for me, Horizon 1 and 2 were the best games in my opinion when it came to that, because you're actually progressing and you're actually felt rewarded of what you were doing within the game. You actually felt rewarded and you actually felt good about what you were doing, and didn't feel like you're being given random things every now and then, which you get in the games right now, right? Obviously the games now are catered towards more on the casual sides of things, but what I don't get is, how can we not get a game like Horizon 3 anymore when it came to the progression and the gameplay? Why can't we have a mix of that? Why can't we have the mix of catering towards the hardcore players while also catering towards the casual side of players? It seems like we can't have a fusion like that anymore, like Horizon 3 did. It seems as it has to go directly to the casual players and double down on the casual player and the casual player side, and not the hardcore side at all. We don't get anything anymore. Everything is given to us within the game. We do one race, we get a wheel spin, we get a Koenigsegg, or we get a Bugatti, or get a Lamborghini. Nothing feels rewarded anymore. I see all these players are not even level 5 yet, and they already have a Lamborghini within the game, within Horizon 4 or 5 already. Not even level 5, not even level 10. What else can I really say about that? There's no end game, there's no proper way of progressing. Everything is very sandbox, right? There's not a structure within these progression systems anymore. It's not how it is anymore. And I just wish for Horizon 6 we can get something different, please. Now, these Horizon games have been having the same formula as well, as I would like to say as well. Horizon 3, 4, and 5 feel like the exact same games with just a different map, with a different soundtrack, and with different characters. That's all that's different. The vibe is the same thing. And everybody, I feel, can agree with me with this one. When you look at Horizon 1 and 2, they feel like two completely different games. They have completely different vibes. They don't feel like the same game at all. They feel like games from two different series, completely, two different franchises. And then when you compare, even when you compare Horizon 2 to Horizon 3, they feel like completely different games. But when you go from Horizon 3 to 4, same thing. It kind of feels the same. There's the same formula there. You go to Horizon 4 to 5, feels the same thing again. Even more the same, I feel now, right? It's the same formula again and again and again. It feels like the same thing again and again and again. For Horizon 6, I want the game to feel different. I want to have a different tone. I want it to have, I don't care where you go with the game. I want it to feel different from Horizon 3, 4, and 5. Please. That's what I want to be changed. Also, the festival playlist. So, the festival playlist in general needs to get rid of the FOMO. Overall, I feel. Whenever you add a new car, whenever you add a returning car, let's start with returning cars in general. When you add returning cars in the festival playlist, they don't work for many reasons. One reason being, the returning cars, they were from previous games. Adding them into the festival playlist and only having them be obtained within the festival playlist is a no-no for me. It shouldn't be like that. What if I couldn't play that week? And then, let's say the Aventador J was in the festival playlist. I wanted to get it, but I wasn't available to play within that week. So then, and then I come back the next week. I can't get the car within the auto show. It's not there. Oh yeah, right, because it's a festival playlist car. FOMO, right there. And Forza Motorsport has a thing to come with this as well. It comes into play with this as well, because Forza Motorsport also has a FOMO thing existing within that game as well. Within the single player career mode, there's a car you can there's usually like a weekly, or I don't know how it works, but there's like a weekly or monthly car you can obtain within completing like a certain series within the career mode, in which you only have the month or the week to get the car, and then it will just go away afterwards. It has that kind of, for those that play motorsport, you guys would know what I'm talking about. That has a thing as well. You can't get it anywhere. You can't get that car anywhere else, and then that's my problem with these things. Most of these cars are returning cars. With new cars, I don't really mind it. But the thing is, with new cars, they should eventually get added into the festival, into the auto show. Normally, in my opinion, it shouldn't be locked within the festival playlist and that only. You know what I mean? Like every 4 months, or after 4 months within that car being in festival playlist, or something like that, they could add the new car into the auto show. And for returning cars, after that month where that car was in the festival playlist, they can add into auto show so that the FOMO is gone. So that's what I really ultimately think about the series in general. For Forza Horizon, all they need to do is change the formula slightly, make it different, make the vibe different, make it feel different, make the map more interesting. make the soundtrack more engaging, make it more, vibey. Obviously, the progression and gameplay. If you want to cater towards the casual side still, make it so that the hardcore gamers get some of that too, right? Make it a fusion like Horizon 3. Make it like that. That would be amazing to have a game like Horizon 3 again in terms of the progression and gameplay. So that's what I ultimately think about these games. Like, Forza in general has been falling off for a long time now, and it seems like these games can't carry some of its weight back up to to better avenues. When you look at other gaming series and racing game series like Need for Speed, they're improving. Look at Gran Turismo, they're chilling. Look at the Crew, they're chilling. And you look at Forza now, and it seems like they're at the bottom of the barrel and can't pick themselves back up. Especially in the motorsport side of things. What I want to change for the Forza series in general is to reevaluate what the priorities are coming from the fans. Look at the fans look at what the fans want or wanted for the series for a long time. Man. There's tons of videos and such talking about what the fans want, including for me with this video and many other videos I have on this channel talking about what I want, right? They gotta look back and turn 10 and play on games. They gotta look and reevaluate and innovate better games, right? For motorsport, turn 10 is different for them because Forza Motorsport is a game that is gonna stay for a while. There's not going to be a new game for a while. So ultimately what they should do is just fix their game, get all the bugs and things out of the way, make it polished, and then add all the stuff from the previous games, including new things that will ultimately improve the game and have the players give the players a reason to actually play the game. And for Horizon, take all the things that have been degraded, the map, the soundtrack, progression and gameplay, the festival playlist, and just reevaluate and implement those reevaluated things into the new game, Horizon 6. Because I know that's coming soon. Might be next year. Maybe this year. Probably not this year, but probably next year. So that's what I ultimately think about the Forza series in general. Things need to change. I'm tired of the series falling more and more as the years go by. As other racing game franchises are chilling and improving. I'm tired of seeing Forza, my favorite out of all, fall.